Take a moment and look around you right now. Look at your surroundings, your possessions, your life circumstances. Now ask yourself this uncomfortable question. Are you living the financial reality you truly deserve? Or are you trapped in an invisible prison of your own making? If that question makes you shift uncomfortably, good. Because discomfort is the first sign that your soul is trying to tell you something your mind has been refusing to hear. For too long, we've been fed the comfortable lie that wealth and poverty are simply matters of luck, circumstance, or external forces beyond our control. But what if I told you that the deepest truth about money lies not in the world around you, but in the labyrinthine depths of your own psyche? You see, there's a shadow lurking in your unconscious mind right now. It's been there since childhood, whispering lies about what you're worth, what you deserve, and what's possible for someone like you. This shadow doesn't care about your education, your intelligence, or how hard you work. It operates from a deeper place, from the collective unconscious patterns that have been shaping human behavior around resources for millennia. The dragon guarding the treasure isn't external. It's living inside you, breathing fire every time you reach for something better. And until you turn to face this dragon directly, you'll remain stuck in the same financial patterns, wondering why success feels like pushing water uphill, while others seem to effortlessly flow toward abundance. But here is what the self-help gurus won't tell you. Your relationship with money is actually a mirror reflecting your relationship with yourself. Every financial decision you make, every opportunity you take or avoid, every belief you hold about what you're capable of earning and keeping is a direct expression of your inner archetypal patterns playing out in the material world. Right now, as you're listening to this, your unconscious mind is already sorting you into categories. Am I someone who has money or someone who struggles? Am I someone who deserves abundance or someone who must always sacrifice? These aren't conscious thoughts. They're deeper than that. They're the invisible software running your financial operating system, and most people never even realize it exists. Think about the last time you had an opportunity to ask for more money, whether it was a raise, setting higher prices for your work, or simply believing you could earn more. What happened in your body? Did you feel a subtle contraction? A voice that whispered, "Who do you think you are?" That wasn't your rational mind speaking. That was your financial shadow, the part of your psyche that's been programmed to keep you small, safe, and struggling. This programming doesn't come from nowhere. It emerges from what Jung called the collective unconscious, those deep archetypal patterns that shape human behavior across cultures and centuries. There are ancient survival mechanisms embedded in your nervous system that once kept your ancestors alive when resources were truly scarce. But in today's world of abundance, these same mechanisms have become invisible barriers between you and the wealth that's actually available. Here is the paradox that will change everything once you truly understand it. The people who seem naturally wealthy aren't necessarily smarter, more educated, or more deserving than you. What they have is different programming. Their unconscious relationship with money operates from a different archetypal foundation. Where you might unconsciously identify with the victim or the martyr, they identify with the sovereign or the magician. But these aren't fixed roles. These are learned patterns, and what's been learned can be unlearned. What's been programmed can be reprogrammed. The question is, are you ready to do the shadow work necessary to change your financial destiny? Let's go deeper. In Jungian psychology, there's a concept called individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are beneath all the conditioning and programming. When it comes to money, most people never individuate. They live their entire lives unconsciously acting out their parents' financial fears, their culture's money stories, their social class's limiting beliefs about what's possible. You inherited your money personality the same way you inherited your eye color. Not through genetics, but through emotional osmosis. Before you could even speak, you were absorbing the energetic frequency of how your family related to money. Was it a source of stress or celebration? Was there enough or never enough? Were wealthy people seen as good or bad? All of this became part of your unconscious blueprint long before your rational mind had any say in the matter. But here's where it gets interesting. Your financial shadow isn't just about the negative beliefs you inherited. It's also about the positive aspects of wealth that you've been unconsciously rejecting. Maybe you learned that money corrupts people, so you unconsciously sabotage yourself whenever you start making more. Maybe you learned that wealthy people are selfish, so you give away your power to avoid being seen that way. Your shadow contains both your fears of poverty and your fears of wealth. This is why positive thinking and affirmations alone don't work for most people. You can't think your way out of unconscious programming that exists in your body, your nervous system, your energetic field. You have to go deeper. You have to turn toward the dragon instead of running from it. The hero's journey that Joseph Campbell wrote about isn't just a story structure. It's the archetypal pattern of psychological transformation, and it applies directly to your relationship with money. Right now, you're living in what Campbell called the ordinary world, accepting your current financial reality as fixed and unchangeable. But your soul is calling you toward something more. That restless dissatisfaction you feel, that's not a problem to be solved. It's a call to adventure. The first stage of any hero's journey is the refusal of the call. How many times have you had an intuitive hit about a business idea, an investment opportunity, a way to increase your income, but then talked yourself out of it? How many times has fear disguised itself as practicality? This refusal isn't weakness. It's normal. But at some point, the call becomes so strong that you can no longer ignore it without betraying your own soul. Then comes the crossing of the threshold, the moment when you decide to step into unknown territory. In financial terms, this might look like starting that business, having that difficult conversation about money, investing in yourself despite the fear. This is where most people turn back, because crossing the threshold means leaving behind the familiar identity of someone who struggles with money and stepping into the unknown identity of someone who doesn't. Your nervous system will resist this transition with everything it has. It will generate fear, doubt, imposter syndrome, analysis paralysis. It will convince you that you're not ready, not qualified, not deserving. This isn't personal. It's biological. Your primitive brain interprets any identity change as a threat to survival. But here's the secret. The fear you feel when moving toward wealth isn't actually fear of failure. It's fear of success. It's fear of becoming someone your old identity doesn't recognize. In the deepest part of your psyche, there's a part of you that believes suffering is noble, that struggle is virtuous, that easy money is somehow dirty. This is the martyrdom archetype, and it's one of the most common financial shadows in our culture. If you unconsciously believe that your worth comes from how much you sacrifice, then wealth becomes a threat to your identity. You'll unconsciously create problems, give away your power, undercharge for your value, because struggle feels more authentic than ease. But what if I told you that your struggle is not serving anyone? Not you, not your family, not the world. What if your financial limitation is actually a form of spiritual bypassing, a way of avoiding the responsibility that comes with real power? Because here is the truth that most people can't handle. Wealth is not just about having money. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle the responsibility of resources, the visibility of success, the power to create change in the world. This is why sudden wealth often destroys people who aren't psychologically prepared for it. Lottery winners who go broke, celebrities who self-destruct, entrepreneurs who sabotage their own success. They received the outer transformation without the inner transformation. They got the money without developing the psychological container to hold it. But there's another pattern, equally common and equally destructive. It's the pattern of the eternal apprentice. The person who's always preparing, always learning, always getting ready to be ready. If you've been consuming financial education for years, but your bank account hasn't changed, you might be stuck in this pattern. The apprentice archetype serves a function. It keeps you safe from the vulnerability of actually putting yourself out there. but it also keeps you perpetually small. The shift from apprentice to sovereign isn't about acquiring more knowledge. It's about embodying a different energetic frequency. Sovereigns don't ask permission. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't need external validation before making moves. They operate from internal authority, from a deep knowing that they have the right to claim their throne in whatever domain calls to them. This transformation isn't comfortable. Individuation never is. It requires you to face the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, to own the power you've been giving away, to step into a larger version of yourself, even when everything in your conditioning screams that you do undeserve it. But on the other side of this transformation is not just wealth. It's freedom. It's authentic power. It's the ability to create the life and impact you're actually here to create. Here's where synchronicity comes in. As you begin to align your inner psychology with abundance, the external world begins to shift in ways that seem almost magical. Opportunities appear, the right people show up. Resources become available. This isn't wishful thinking. It's how consciousness works. Your external reality is always reflecting your internal state. Change the frequency within, and the world around you reorganizes itself to match. But synchronicity requires receptivity. It requires you to be present enough to notice the signs, open enough to act on them, and trusting enough to follow the breadcrumbs, even when you can't see the whole path. This is where most people get stuck. They want a guarantee before they leap. They want certainty in an uncertain world. But wealth, real wealth, is created in the space between the known and the unknown. The wealthy people you admire didn't get there by playing it safe. They got there by developing a different relationship with uncertainty, with risk, with the unknown. They learned to surf chaos instead of being overwhelmed by it. They developed what Jung called a transcendent function, the ability to hold paradox, to navigate between opposing forces without being torn apart by them. You can have security or you can have growth, but you can't have both simultaneously. The middle path isn't about finding balance. It's about learning to dance with the dynamic tension between safety and expansion, between holding on and letting go, between who you've been and who you're becoming. Right now, in this moment, you're at a choice point. You can continue living the financial story you inherited, the one that feels familiar even if it doesn't feel good. Or you can choose to step into the hero's journey of financial transformation. But understand this, once you make this choice, there's no going back. Once you see the dragon for what it is, once you recognize your own power, once you taste true financial sovereignty, you can never again pretend to be powerless. The path forward isn't about positive thinking or vision boards or hoping the universe will deliver your dreams on a silver platter. It's about shadow work. It is about facing the parts of your financial programming that have been running your life from the shadows. It's about reclaiming the power you gave away to parents, teachers, society, anyone who told you what was possible for someone like you. This work is not for everyone. It requires courage to face uncomfortable truths about how you've been complicit in your own financial limitation. It requires honesty to admit where you've been playing small, playing victim, playing safe. It requires commitment to stay with the process, even when your old patterns are screaming at you to return to familiar suffering. But if you're still here, if you're still listening, then something in your soul is ready for this transformation. Something in you knows that you came here to do more than just survive, to create more than just getting by. Something in you remembers that abundance is your birthright, that you have gifts that the world needs, that your financial struggle is not serving your highest purpose. The invitation is simple, but not easy. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for someone else to give you the opportunities you're not creating for yourself. The dragon in your financial cave is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's been waiting for you to become brave enough to claim the treasure it's been guarding. Your relationship with money is your relationship with power, with value, with your own worth. Heal this relationship, and you heal your entire life. Transform your financial consciousness, and you transform your capacity to impact the world. The choice is yours, and the time is now. What you do next will determine whether you remain a prisoner of your financial programming or become the sovereign of your own economic destiny. The door is open. The path is clear. The only question is, are you ready to walk through?